live.
Jesi uspio zupčić?
Live.
Čekaj sekundu samo. Di gore? Ovo view ili?
Imaš pored stop video, imaš ovu strelicu,
Dobro.
choose virtual background.
Dobro.
I onda si možeš dodat na plusić sliku ili
Guys,
nekako.
I believe that we are live. Yeah, we are live. So
Okay.
stop talking.
In your native language.
And say how to our dear community. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Yep.
Yeah, how everyone. Thank you for having us here. This time is going to be a bit different. We have still some problems about managing all of this. We did some testing yesterday. This is the first time that we are streaming live from Zoom call, not from the studio. And this is also the first time that I'm not actually having my usual team members with me, but rather people from the, I would say still, it is a Cardano family, but it's a Revuto family as well. Although you are more or less, some of you are now connected to other projects, I still consider you a Revuto family, and more than everything, the friends, because we all, we are friends. You know, we talk together, we walk together, and we drink together. So cheers for that. Guys, please introduce yourself. Starting, we have two Philips today, and yeah, who is going to be first? Philip number one. Who is that?
Who's Philip number one? I mean, both of us are actually from both of us from Croatia. Both of us are Philips, and both of us are from Genius Yield. I'm head of business development.
Picho, you start first.
I'm head of business development at Genius Yield and Genius X and all the Genius franchise.
Just don't be Genius X. Don't become Genius X. You are a Revuto X. Don't be.
And Philip is actually, Philip, you should introduce yourself.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Philip. I'm a technical project manager now in Genius Yield. I am also a business developer and a blockchain operations lead in Thespian, a company based in Zagreb for software development services. Yeah, I've been around Cardano for a few years now, and I for about a year I was working for Revuto. It was a very nice year. So yeah, I'm still hanging around.
Yeah, and from now on, all just downhill after Revuto. Just
I hope not, but let's see.
Okay, so basically Philip knows shit, and he's gonna be here talking with us, discussing with us, and this is actually the reason why we are here to discuss some things within the Cardano, within the crypto space, DeFi space. That's why we have here the guy we call him the professor. He's Marco. Marco, please introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is.
Okay, please.
My name is Marco. I'm working in Revuto. I'm working few things, managing social channels, DeFi setups, and everything else that needs to be done.
Yeah, that's a good. Everything that has to be done, and no one knows how to do it.
Yeah, but very, very knowledgeable about the crypto space as well. The reason he's with us, basically because I noticed Marco even before he joined the Revuto on social media channels. He was really writing smart things about the crypto space, and I contacted him, and that is how our relationship began. And Marco is really helpful. He also has some plans to do some private things business-wise, so maybe he's gonna maybe want to talk about that, but a bit later about his plans. I think that is a great idea. So yeah, I'm gonna also, before we start with some topics, I'm gonna also say that it's gonna be, maybe we're gonna be up to 2 hours here, so brace yourself. And at one point we're gonna share the link for the Zoom call, so whoever is
whoever wants to join and ask something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit tired because actually I came home at 4 a.m. yesterday, and guess with who I was out. Philip, do you have any?
Yeah. I know. No, thank you. Yeah, I was. I'm not tired anymore. So yeah, I asked actually Vedran yesterday, do we have any topics for today? And he just said it'll be surprise. So yeah, I'm here to waiting for the surprise.
Okay, so let's start with the first topic, and then later, yes, we're gonna allow people to ask questions also about the crypto in general, and then also about the Revuto and our plans and things that bothers them. So guys, yeah, whenever we meet in person, we always have a heated discussion about the crypto space and when it is going, and you know what you think about the centralized setups, decentralized setups. Does the decentralization even exist in 100%, you know, in full? So let's start with Filip Blagojevic, and yeah, let's hear his opinion about, you know, where crypto should go, and if we should actually dismiss all those centralized apps, and even just, you know, tell us, you know, what do you think about the decentralization in general? Do you believe that, you know, decentralized is actually decentralized? Forget about the technical things, but you know, about the business wise and everything.
Sure. I think decentralization has become a bit of a floskula in Croatian, like a term that we kind of throw around to justify whatever kind of setups. We don't really have a way, like an official way to quantify decentralization. Sometimes we use some simple metrics like Nakamoto coefficient, number of operators, miners, whatever, but it's not a full picture. So I would really love to see a framework being made where we can say, okay, well, this project is this much decentralized and this other one is that much decentralized, and so on and so on. And no, of course, centralized setups have their advantages and have their place. It's just that we need to, as an industry, realize, you know, what needs to be really decentralized, what needs to be somewhere in the middle, and what needs to be centralized. And there's place for that, and there are different business cases for all of these points. I still believe that like level 1 protocols should be as decentralized as possible geographically. If they are miners, then by hash power, by different entities who don't know each other, who are maybe even adversarial. That should be spread out as possible, because it gives the protocol the strength. But then business cases, even such as Revuto, should have a degree of centralization because it's necessary. It's necessary for a quicker user experience, for a more smooth, you know, interaction with the regulators and things like that. But I think we're still a bit far away to quantify that properly.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know what to add here.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask a question. So you mentioned the word businesses. So I often say, you know, that all the projects in, you know, not just in Cardano, but in a crypto space, and project like Revuto is basically a business. We are building the business on top of the blockchain technology, to build and to offer the superior products compared to what could be offered up till now. So when we talk about the business, and then even when we talk about entities that are actually building the DeFi space, so are they centralized in a way? Because again, somebody is building those businesses, somebody is, you know, building those setups,
somebody needs to build them.
Smart contracts. So smart contracts cannot be by default decentralized. You know, you open source the smart contract, and whoever wants to build the smart contract. No, you always, somebody builds a smart contract. Yeah, it can be done, but somebody is always behind the smart contract, some developer from some team, and then that smart contract goes to audit, and then, you know, you actually.
That doesn't matter. I mean, we have to start from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So if we are going to build Genius Yield, someone will have to do it at the beginning. But After that, we're trying to make that open source and to become DAO.
Okay.
And to create a DAO and to let people also contribute to the project. We have to give them something. After that, it's decentralized.
That's true. We have to give them something, but the core thing. So okay, so you said that we want to open source and we want to open that. So you're building the DEX, and what that means? So you're gonna allow people to, you know, play with the smart contracts around the DEX and maybe make that DEX, you know, unreliable. I don't know, you know, to just, you know,
no, it's not us. It's not us. Other people won't let it because it'll be decentralized, and we are not the only ones who are deciding that anymore. There'll be governance. There'll be, if you want to deploy something, you'll have to make proposal. I mean, that's the future of the whole decentralization. The thing now is that we are doing that manually and privately. Yeah. So in a point, in a way, you're right here. Yeah. Currently, it's not decentralization as we think about, but I mean, Mark will probably give you the same example to check out the Uniswap, who is basically decentralized as it can be, you know.
Marco, any thoughts?
Yes, we need to be honest, because decentralization is a word that people often use in crypto, but most things, more than 90% of things don't have anything to do with decentralization, because it's more or less everything is centralized. They just use this word to look the project better. We can take one example, Uniswap. Uniswap, it's DeFi. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of DeFi and Uniswap, and because what is centralized here? You have front end that is run by Uniswap, but smart contract is more or less really decentralized. And now you have other examples. Okay, I don't want to name projects, but a lot of projects just use this word, and it doesn't have much decentralization in the project. More or less, everything is centralized.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Well, why this is why I'm asking this, because of the recent happenings, you know, in the Q4 with the FTX. So we had a big shitstorm regarding that centralized setup. Still, before that, we had a big shitstorm with the DeFi setup, which was Terra Luna. So, and in a way, you know, they had a problem with their stablecoin, so they tried to fix it. They were decentralized, but again, those guys were behind the setup, and now we see that even the authorities are chasing those guys because, yeah, they were DeFi's, you know, the business, but again, somebody was behind all of that. So yeah, also why this is always a heated discussion, because whenever, you know, not whenever, but many times when we talk about Revuto and other projects in Cardano, then people say, you know, you're not even decentralized, you are not even using smart contracts. Yes, we are not at the moment. That doesn't mean that we are not going to use them, because for many setups we actually will have to use the smart contracts for the products that we want to launch. But still, for me as a businessman, I think that those battles are more like yeah, they're important for the crypto hardcore developers and ethos and everything. But in the end, you know, now the most important thing should be actually to push the crypto and all those things to the masses. And I believe that there are two approaches how we can do that. We can obviously do that very slowly by building the products strictly for the crypto savvy people, which then, you know, we're gonna have with time more crypto savvy people understanding all those DeFi setups and how wallets works and decentralized apps and everything. Or we should take the path that we took, you know, to build a simple app, simple user interface to actually help people who didn't have necessarily had any contact with the crypto in the past, and then to invite them through those easy I wouldn't say dummy, but simple setups into the world of crypto. So what do you think is the better approach here?
Each of those projects in crypto, same as Revuto, same as Genius, same as Cardano, each of them have their own it's like goal or quest or something to do, you know. Revuto is here maybe to attract people outside of crypto. And okay, sure, that's great. But if there is no Cardano, or if there is no someone who built technology before that, Revuto wouldn't be able to build something, you know. So each of us has some kind of purpose here. And the main goal of the whole crypto space is in the future, the whole decentralization. Now, centralization is still, you know, centralized exchange or centralized entities are still the like most easiest way, or like with the best UX and best UI for some non-crypto people to enter. But after that, you know, they will find out there is much more than centralization.
Okay, that was actually a good answer from your side. But still, how I see it, you know, if you talk about the adoption, now we can argue if the crypto adoption is, I don't know, 2%, 5%, 10%. I don't know what you think about it, but even though, you know, even if it's a 10%, 90% of the people are still, you know, there is a huge market to actually conquer. So now the question is, for some of the projects building on blockchain, should all of them focus only on those 10% all, or on those 90% of the market? And I don't see, so if somebody chooses like we did to maybe focus more on those 90% who are not familiar with the crypto, so, you know, I think that we shouldn't, you know, then argue, you know, if this project is a crypto project or not. And, you know,
I actually have a question for you. What does it mean for you to use crypto?
Sorry, to
use crypto. Will other people use crypto? For what? Do you mean they will use like Bitcoin or ADA to pay something? They wouldn't. Probably.
No. So basically, what we are doing, we are actually leveraging the blockchain technology, you know, and those setups to actually offer users better products, and products which, you know, can help them save money. That's the main goal with Revuto. And crypto is here, really comes, you know, great into the play, even to actually offer them products like borrowing money, because in a traditional financial setups and the world, those setups are expensive, they're hard to build, regulated, you need to be really compliant with a lot of things. With crypto, it's much easier, and then also the community can provide that so needed liquidity to others and things like that. So yeah, in the end, you know, it's all about what we can offer to the end user and how the end user can benefit from using the Revuto and its product. So that's the main reason. Obviously, yeah, I'm a big fan of a blockchain technology and the crypto in general, and I think that that's the natural step forward when we are talking about the financial system in general. I think that this is just a part of the digital transformation of the financial world, because the old one is actually not just that it's broken, but it's yeah, it's old, you know, archaic. It's not, you know, today with the internet and the connectivity and all and the technology, we can do so much better, so much more. So, and this is where actually a blockchain comes into the place, you know. So it's natural for me, and you know, and I am 100% sure that crypto is here to stay. So, you know, let's forget about the prices and everything, but the technology and the digital assets, you know, they're gonna replace everything. Marco, you're quiet.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So
I'm sure if you now ask 10 people that are already in crypto, 9 of them will tell you that they didn't even try to use DeFi protocols, decentralized exchanges or something like this. And I'm sure if we would have only decentralized exchanges, then the whole thing would not work, because you need to have centralized exchanges to have ramp for fiat and everything else. And user experience on centralized exchanges is much more closer to end user. I don't think that everything in the future will be decentralized. That would be impossible. We need to have a collaboration of centralization and decentralization. That will be best for everyone. Because if you look at centralized exchanges like FTX and what happened there, and there was a lot of examples like that, then it's obvious we need some changes, or non-custodial central exchanges or decentralized exchanges, but you can't put your money and believe someone will keep it safe for you. At least I will not do that. This is very, very risky. Why we need.
Do you find it strange that FTX US was okay and then that international was not okay? Because obviously, in the US regulation works, and the business entities are afraid of it and they are compliant.
Of course, and even if you listen or read Sam Bankman Twitter, he's still saying that all funds from US customers are there. 100% of the funds from US customers are safe. He never gambled with those funds. And I actually believe that he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because there you can trick everyone. You can steal almost money from everyone. But if you take money from US investor, that's a big deal, because US is much more regulated market than rest of the world. That's at least my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're much more regulated, but they're they're leading the way, because I think that the regulation is going to come to the European Union as well with MiCA legislation. And when all those things are going to be regulated, so they're going to be pretty much safe. And so then what? We're going to have, again, centralized entities and decentralized entities. And do you think that, for instance, big institutional investors are going to invest money and put money in decentralized setups where they don't know actually who is behind the setup, when the community is leading everything, when if something happens, you don't have anybody to chase, to actually go to on a court?
Why do you need big companies to do that?
So, for instance, I believe that still, we need more liquidity in the crypto space. We are just at the beginning. So, and that's why the market is, there's several reasons why the market is volatile still. But, if the adoption of crypto is going to be huge, then all fiat money or most of the fiat money needs to transfer to crypto space. And how is that going to happen? Do you think that, those big companies, investing companies, funds are gonna hold their funds on hardware ledgers, on a non-custodial wallet?
No, but I think that the fiat money will soon be replaced by CBDCs. So every country will have their own digital currency, which is also supervised and regulated by the government, and everything else could be put into the crypto space, into the altcoins and all of that, mostly probably Bitcoin.
No, sure, but somewhere, people are gonna, hold money somewhere. Okay, they're gonna keep money somewhere, and are they gonna keep their money, by, I don't know, having the seed phrase somewhere stored on?
I mean, that's the whole point of crypto, to be your own bank.
No, but I agree with Vedran that there are setups today. You have entities that hold their own keys if that's what they want. You have entities having their keys stored in Coinbase custody. You have entities having their keys dug up in a Swiss mountain. There are semi-permission setup. This can be relatively easily done. You know, it's not the same if you have $1,000 in crypto and if you have 300 million.
Exactly.
But there are today organizations that take care of that. You can even take insurance if you lose it, things like that.
So there are organizations, and those organizations are mostly centralized.
Centralized.
Sure, but that's because we as people want to put faith into someone else to keep our money for the time being, which is fine. Like, you have people now, they hold their fiat money in a sock under the bed. They don't want to keep it in the bank, right? But there should be a level of possibility to do that, right?
Exactly. But do you think that we should have something much better than a seed phrase? From our experience now, with Revuto, we have a non-custodial wallet. The most of the problems that we have, and we still have, is people losing their seed phrases and then telling us that we are a fraud, we are the scam, we didn't do it properly, we didn't say to them, you know. But people are losing their, you know,
I know.
seed phrases.
I mean,
I think this is I think a job for either wide education or a regulator even. Like Marco is I'm sure much more familiar, but let's say if you want to trade options or some financial derivatives, when you register with the broker, you have to go either through some, so I'm not going to say it's perfect, but maybe, you know, some basic questionnaire, or at least that you need to sign, I understand what I'm doing, right? And it's a bit of a process, not huge process, but it's a bit of a process. So if you want,
you mean like KYC?
No. You mean to say, I understand the risks associated with this,
Okay.
and that's it, right? So in case you lose money, you cannot blame anyone else, right? Now, regulator needs to, this kind of regulation is necessary also for crypto. I think that's a given. People need to understand, if you're going to be your own custodian, you're responsible. If you don't want to be, keep it somewhere else. They will hold it for you. That carries other risks, but just you need to understand that. If you don't understand that, don't do it. Don't be in it, you know.
No, sure, don't be in it, but people don't get it, and that's the case, because you know you are using, I guess, many services on a daily basis, and how often it happens that you forgot your password? I think that happens to everybody all the time.
More often, I would like to admit.
Yeah. So you see, and and then we have a way how to recover that.
That's true, but that's why I don't take that password keeping as seriously, because if I have money and I know if I lose it, I cannot recover it, I take that way more seriously than my Gmail password.
I agree.
I believe when you lose your key phrase, I don't think you will lose it ever again, because everybody needs to learn the first time. Next time you will be more careful.
Yeah, if there is going to be next time, because if you lose everything, then... yeah.
I mean, 10% of all the Bitcoin and everything is lost, right?
How much? 10%?
Those are estimates, but around 2 to 3 million Bitcoin, they say that they are irreversible.
No, guys, I
2
put
to 3 million is
10%.
2 to 3 million is even more than 10%. Yeah.
Wait. I'm gonna check it out, because I actually did the Twitter post about it. So, Jesus, I'm not gonna die, but I just sound like that. So, from the chain analysis, there is a number, but the estimate is.
But that's the number. That's good.
No, but it was around 20% or even more, and that's a huge amount.
20% is like 4. But yeah, that's 4 million Bitcoins now. 4 million
17
times.
and 23%. Yeah, that's like almost 4 million Bitcoins. But those are just Bitcoins, and then the same thing happens on the other blockchains as well. People forget their shit. Okay, but again, the most important thing is that I believe that we shouldn't argue, if this is a better and that's the worst. Still, we need to figure it out, and then we need to also build a better user experience for the DeFi products, because even now we see, and I try to follow everything. There is a huge problem also with the MetaMask, which are people using because they're losing money from their wallets, because they need to confirm, they need to sign something, and then they usually sign something that is not something they shouldn't sign, and then they allow somebody a permission to actually access their wallet and to steal money from them. And believe it or not, there's some really experienced people who actually lost the money also in that way. So again, it's not a perfect setup, and it's a setup which is actually pain in the ass for the average Joe. I need to say that, because the signing and everything, it's a lot of things that you need to do, and to run that everything in browser, it's even worse when you need to do that on a mobile device. There are now apps which have those DApp connectors, but they're basically running a web view, actually the browser with it inside of the app. And this is the only way how now you can actually connect the wallet to the decentralized app. The user experience is not good. So if you want to make actually really seamless, easy to use user experience, I'm afraid that the custodial services are still way to go. In a way, we are now also on the crossroads, because we want to keep that non-custodial setup and everything, but still to actually offer people to get cashback and referral rewards, and even to, I don't know, go to multi-chain and support other token. I believe that the custodial setup is much better choice.
Now, when you talked about custodial setup, when you talked about security, I found an app actually that's a project built on Cardano called DeFi Yield, and they have some kind of wrecked database where you can see all the projects and everything that was, since the probably beginners, wrecked, exploited, stolen funds. Currently, we're cumulative loss is $75 billion, and 99.9% of them are CeFi. CeFi, borrowing and lending.
Do we have actually the information CeFi versus DeFi about the exploits?
But if you look at DeFi, the only exploit, actually like 99% of the exploits are coming from bridges.
Yeah, a lot of that, because bridge is usually a more or less centralized version. Unfortunately.
Okay, if there is not bridges, okay, they're centralized. So second
no,
thing
but they
is
are. I agree with you. I just think that bridges are usually the weakest link because of the way they are built.
Yeah. Okay. Then if you look at some losses of the funds that happened on the DeFi, on the decentralized exchange, that's mostly rug pull, because it's much easier to do rug pull on the and to empty the pool.
But also when we say losses on CeFi, what do we take in there? Do we take I don't know, realized loss on stocks? Do we do bonds realized loss on trading?
No.
That's all CeFi, right? That's all TradFi, right? Do we take unrealized loss on any derivative of traditional finance? Do we take realized loss on oil trading, gold trading, silver trading, any commodity trading? Like what is a loss?
No, just bad actors. But here is Voyager, Celsius, BitConnect, Terra Luna, whatever, FTX, and this is all CeFi.
I mean, but I'm also saying, like, do you know how many forex brokers are scammers? Like pure, I have no idea even how they are legally operating. Like you have people calling you on your phone, getting you to put money into some weird platform for trading. You never get the money back. People have fake addresses, fake offices all over the world. I mean, this is happening. This is it's the reality. I mean, so
there are bad actors in every space.
Yes.
Yeah, that's in every business that there are bad actors. So what is your general stand on regulation? Do you think that that's necessary? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that's a bad thing? Do you think that regulators should regulate only CeFi, not the DeFi? Because I read the MiCA legislation and they're also aiming at DeFi as well. I'm not sure how is that. How
Sure, regulated is needed. Regulated is something that we could use, and I believe that everything should be regulated in a way. Decentralized things won't be affected so much, I believe, because it's decentralized and you cannot, regulate all of that. But centralized exchanges definitely, not only exchanges but everything that is decentralized. And I think that the whole crypto space could use some regulation.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to the next topic, and that's like DeFi by itself. So DeFi, they say that they're gonna try to regulate the DeFi. Do you think that those lending protocols, which are more or less most of the, besides the DEXs, are 90% of the DeFi? What do you think about those setups? Do you think that the DeFi lending is a business? I don't, because I personally think that's just it's a betting, it's a trading, it's a leverage trading. Nothing new there.
Why? So if you need
financial.
So what if you need a loan, you can go to bank and get a loan, but if you want to do it decentralized way, then it's gambling. I don't know. If someone wants to give you a loan,
No, but
the
bank is different. And I actually here agree with the Michael Saylor, because he says if you're gonna go to the bank and you put the collateral, which is very volatile, and then bank is going to look at the history of that coin or, that asset, and going to say, listen, okay, that's the history of the coin. It's a very volatile asset. And then, we're going to give you the loan, but we're not going to give you more than 10% of the, but what we see in a DeFi, and we were actually talking a few days ago about that, Filip Blagovic, you remember that, and now we see on the Indigo protocol that they're changing that, because they're allowing people to actually get stablecoin. So they would put 100% of the collateral in actually ADA and take out 90% in a stablecoin, and they get liquidated all the time. So
Yes.
How is even possible to put such a setup on the market?
Well, in defense of Indigo protocol, they transparently, openly, publicly stated this is what is being done.
Yeah.
The Indigo DAO voted on increasing that. Now they increased it to 120%. It's not a revolutionary increase. Yeah. It's not a revolutionary increase. But at least you have a programmatic way that you get liquidated. So you cannot go and blame Indigo.
No, I'm not blaming Indigo.
No. So the idea is now we're putting a lot of the different things into the same hamper. I have nothing against if I say I'm going to put a collateral of 5,000 ETH, and Srdoc is going, and for that collateral I want to borrow, I don't know, 20,000 USDT. Srdoc comes on the other side and says, okay, I'll give you to 20,000 USDT for that collateral. I have nothing against that. That's an agreement between two independent actors who don't know each other, right? I have nothing against
and the platform was Indigo.
Yes, I have nothing against that. And even
so
Indigo.
Thank you, Indigo.
Yeah, but Indigo.
No, I'm not blaming you.
Okay, but any of these, if they are built properly, you have a smart contract, and ideally in a nice, perfect world, you would have the protocols off-chain, on-chain code open sourced, and you can do your own front end, and you can do transactions without Indigo or Yearn Finance or Uniswap front end, anyone. You can do those trades or whatever in a way that cannot be controlled, right? As long as no one is being hurt, right? If I am dumb enough or smart enough to take that, that's my responsibility.
No,
right?
Sure, but you said that word, as long as nobody's going to be hurt. But do you believe that? Do you think that with the DeFi lending, people can be hurt? Because
they definitely can.
Yeah, because I see that this setup, can be really manipulative to the, the tokenomics of the token and everything because of the.
We are not getting into the tokenomics of the token of the platform. We just are now keeping, I'm sure it can be manipulative, right? But we're not getting into that. I'm against manipulative schemes of, hey, magical airdrops pumping the value, TVL, blah, blah, blah. That's different thing, and we can discuss that. And I am way in favor of regulating that. I am in favor of any, let's say, crypto project. Everything that has been publicly written or spoken can be used in a court of law down the line. I'm way in favor of that. Because there is a lot of founders and a lot of protocols who come and tell a big story and hype it up and whatever, and then nothing happens. I'm for that being used in a court of law, whatever jurisdiction that is. Because you're decentralized, okay, but then this is your place of activity. This is how you speak with your investors or users or however you call them. So this can be used in a court of law.
No, sure. But I'm now just questioning you if those setups are good for the crypto, because those are setups in which you can actually leverage your crypto. And in leverage trading, we all know and we are aware of that in those setups 90% of the people are losing money, and
97 to 99.
Yeah, but that's normal. It's not only in crypto, it's even in
everywhere.
Traditional markets. When you buy equity, you have stocks, you put them as a collateral to borrow more money. And that is simple how markets work. People like to trade, and everyone should be careful what he's doing. If someone wants to trade on leverage, okay, but he needs to know the risk.
We can discuss, Marco, also, let's say we can discuss forbidding leverage, but that will even leverage trading at all. But then you get to the point where the whole financial system is based on credit. It's based on leverage. So what do you do then? There is no way to borrow money from anyone, because when you borrow money, it's leverage.
It is leverage, but it's the way how you leverage it. Because I saw that interesting video with the Michael Saylor. I'm not a big fan of him because I'm not a Bitcoin maxi and things like that. And he's obviously doing whatever he can to actually protect himself and his investors. And we should all understand that. But still, I think that he has some really good logical thinking about all of this. And even the CZ said that you should never leverage your token. And what happens in a crypto, we all have all the projects, we have our own token, and then the most how we can get out of that token anything is to actually put it lock it up in a smart contract in a DeFi lending to actually get the money, the cash out, which comes in a way of a stable coin. So, and I hypothetically said, maybe one day the Revuto could actually also get in that situation when the, Revuto coin is $1, and then let's say we have 50% of the token supply still within the company, and that means that the capital gain is, the capital that we have in the token is around $150 million. And what should we do next? Because obviously all those projects, they plan to use those funds to grow the business, to hire people, to develop and things like that. So what you can do, you can actually go and sell those tokens, but we are all aware, if the market cap of our token is 280 million, let's say, with $1 price, that there is no 280 million behind that token, because they're just the last price which somebody paid. But somebody in the beginning paid, I know, 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents, 40, and then up to dollars. So basically, I'm not sure how much, but I believe that maybe 10% of that is in real cash behind the token. And then what happens?
So you think?
So just a second. So what you have an option to sell your token basically and drop the price of your token and to get some money out. So for instance, if from 150 million you want to get, 20 million out, you basically have to sell everything, and then you're done. Or what you can do, you can actually go to the lending protocol and say, I'm going to lock up there, 150 million and get 75 million, 50% out in a stable coin. And what happened? I didn't sell, I didn't crash the token price. I even put the tokenomics in better position because there are much less tokens in the circulating supply now. And then I got tokens out. And what I can do, and people are doing that, so, listen, I'm gonna get 75 million out of that, and then I'm gonna put 25 million again. I'm gonna buy my own token, to
Alameda, is that you?
And so, and those are things, which people were doing, and people are doing that, in crypto. So is that good for crypto? And if those setups are going to be, the majority
as Philip said, it doesn't.
This is not that people are doing this just in crypto. They are doing everywhere.
This is not only this.
Okay.
No, I would just like to say it may sound harsh, and but this is the natural economic forces at play. Like Marco said, like Philip said, this is not only in crypto. These are thousands of setups throughout history are like that. You had, old Romans kind of chipping away a little bit of gold coins and putting in copper.
Wait, do we? Because crypto is very liquid, and what can happen when you have smart contracts and those contracts start liquidating your assets, and then the token price just goes down like a hell. With other assets in the world, we can talk about the even
sure, let's talk about Euro CHF of 2015. Have you seen that chart? Euro CHF in 2015. Have you seen that chart?
No.
That's one of them.
Swiss,
Switzerland.
Swiss,
yeah. You can take a look at that chart and you tell me how that is not falling. This is a market inefficiency that had to be corrected. Now, unfortunately, I don't know, 100,000 people, million people got burned very heavily and lost trust in an institution. That's horrible. That's bad. But that's mathematics and economics at play. Now, what I mind is that in that case, I believe that there were few huge actors responsible for that took the money and never went to jail. I am very much in favor of those kinds of actors being put in jail. I am very much so. But in the end, if you have people chasing quick gains and quick profits, they are going to get burned. People do get burned, and this is a school of life. They get burned in crypto, in stocks, in CFD trading, leverage trading, betting on football, casinos, slot machines. All of that, all of those people have the same goal in mind. I want to get quick rich. I don't want to think. I don't want to work. I just want money now. This is a great way to do it. And I know a guy who got rich quick like that.
Okay. So, but still, there is a big difference in crypto, as Michael Saylor said. You can, make your token out of the thin air, and you can, with those setups, you can pump up the price, which is actually good for the ecosystems, and that's why I believe that Cardano will explode in the next bull run, because when those DeFi setups and the DeFi lending takes full force, the token prices are going to go up, because the total value locked of those tokens is going to go up significantly, and it's going to the whole value of the ecosystem, the prices are going to go up. But then again, is this sustainable? Because I'm now trying to think logical. I'm not a developer. So if, let's say, those collaterals are set up to liquidate, if the price drops for 50%, and then you have a lot of those liquidations. So how DeFi can be efficient? I think that it cannot be efficient, and that's why they're backing it up.
Definitely more.
I
definitely more efficient than centralized exchanges.
No, I think it's hugely efficient. When it goes to zero, that's a market correction.
But if you look, actually, why it's efficient here in better position? If you look what happened on FTX, there was Alameda. They didn't have liquidation like every other user. They could take all the money and didn't have liquidation. And this was actually centralized exchange, centralized debt. if that was on DeFi, I don't think they could take all the money without getting liquidated.
Because look, once you have smart contract, that's it. No one can change it.
No, sure.
If smart contract says, if this goes to liquidation price, which is $10,000 for Bitcoin, you're getting liquidated. There is no
you're getting liquidated.
There is no way to stop that.
No.
But then we're doing that with decentralized things. And someone called someone and they said, yeah, let's not liquidate them. Still, just leave them a little bit. They will fix it. That cannot happen on DeFi.
I get it. You're gonna get liquidated. But the thing is, from who did you get? So, for instance, you locked up something in a smart contract. You received the stable coin, and okay, you're gonna get liquidated. But somebody who actually lent out to you, gave you that stable coin, how is gonna he repaid?
He will not. He will learn a valuable lesson not to lend you money.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I mean, of course, if you wanna buy a house and you put it under the mortgage, and something happens, and you're not insured. I mean, you have to be, but you're not insured. I mean, the bank just lost money.
Okay.
Yeah, in this case, the bank is always the bank takes the house.
I tried to simplify it as much as I could, but yeah.
Okay.
But like Serdar said, there are always two sides. Both sides take risk in expectation of financial gain. The more risk you take, the more gain you can get, but you can lose almost everything.
And it's all about
the same things. It's the same thing as, for example, futures. Someone is shorting the market, someone is long on the market. Longs are paying shorts are paying long. I mean, that's
agree
how
100%. But then we can all say that the DeFi is all about the trading. It's not the business. And now the question is, if this is a good for crypto, that all the most of those DeFi setups are, and in general, the projects are more about the trading and less about the business. And
why do you think it's everything about the trading? I don't think it's everything about the trading, but okay.
It's about the trading today. It's about the trading today. But I agree, Vedran, with you that needs to be taken much more seriously. People need to get rid of the gambling mentality. People need to say, okay, I can get a loan, I don't know, of 50 or 60% of my collateral, but I need to find a way how to put that loan to work to make more money. I need to put in work. I need to create additional value so I can repay that loan, as normal loans work in life. Right? Until that happens.
But they found the setup, because what people usually do, they take those stable coins, they buy different coins, and the setup is really awesome when you get in early, because before the prices start to go up, because then it's really easy to repay the debt, to return the stable coin, to actually get a lot of funds out. Because in the past, if you stake something which was worth, I don't know, 100, and now it's worth 10,000, then you are gonna actually repay the debt, and then again possibly put those funds in the DeFi and take a lot more money out of it. But yeah, it's all about the trading, which is my next topic, because I believe that crypto should do much more, and because the blockchain technology is really awesome to support many other setups and business cases. One of those is what we do. I believe the Cardano is specific, maybe because there are a lot of those projects doing something else. At least they're trying. We're gonna see how that's gonna end up. But and this is where that term real fi comes into the place. But what is your opinion on that? Because also I see some of the push from the hardcore crypto developers also against those setups. They're again more into DeFi and all those trading things than more like traditional businesses, which shouldn't be reinvented in a way. They should be just, now built on the better technology on the blockchain. So any thoughts about that? No.
I spoke a lot. I want to let other people speak.
Do you have the exact question? I lost you for a second.
Yeah. So, man, I lost myself too.
So about
yeah, because you were talking
to
follow you, and then
we said that in a crypto we can be all about the DeFi and build those trading setups, or we can actually do more with the blockchain technology and support.
What is real fi for you?
Yeah, and the real fi. Sorry.
What is real fi for you?
The real fi is basically when you actually use blockchain technology to support a real world use case in the business which already exists in the real world. Not just...
For example, how can BMW use real fi?
Okay,
or Amazon or I don't know.
Yeah,
they make an NFT collection and sell it.
To support chain supply chain, Jesus, things like that, So I don't know.
I mean, all of that could be used on blockchain. All of that can be put on blockchain. But those, when people think about blockchain, they see it as something that must be transparent. And a lot of big companies can use blockchain, but they want private blockchains. They don't want to know how many clients they have, how much they just sold for, how much they just bought something inputs for the
what
production.
I believe that this is one example of the great use case. We all have cars, and the main issue when you buy the used car is, to find out how many kilometers that car has. So I believe that...
So that's VeChain.
Yeah, something like that.
Marco.
That's VeChain. That's a real, that's a real fi project.
But
and
there are projects, but I think we are still very, very early. But if you look, I don't know, Philip mentioned now VeChain. There are a lot of companies like Walmart, like BMW, that are already testing this technology. Walmart is testing for food, for meat, for steaks, and you can actually go on the blockchain and see when did this steak all the travel from the farm to actually your plate.
To your mouth.
You can track every step.
Yeah.
But they are testing. I believe in future, maybe in 5-10 years, there will be much more things like that. But for now, we are still very, very early.
But also what Philip said, private chains have a big role to play. That, I like crypto, I like decentralization and permissionlessness and all of that. But there is a good use case, a lot of use cases for private chains, especially private chains that can speak with other private chains or semi-private chains. Let's say you have let's say you have an identity. I don't know, Croatian Ministry of Internal Affairs issues, I don't know, IDs to all of their citizens. You don't want everybody to know all the data of everybody, right? You need to have some privacy, and you need to have, we can call it a backdoor, that the police officer can actually see your identity, but not maybe anyone else. I'm just spitballing here. This is not a great use case, but whatever. But then you go to Germany and they have their own chain there for their identity, but they need somehow to see your identity from the Croatian chain.
Interoperability.
That's something that makes sense. And there is cryptography that supports that. There is a lot of projects doing that. And Marco said VeChain. VeChain needs to learn to play nice with Cardano, and Cardano needs to learn to play nice with Ethereum, etc., etc. Now we are far away from a great user experience of that. So the devs are pushing the technical part of that. All I'm saying, Vedran, where you and I do not get along is we cannot rush this process for the sake of user experience, because if we rush it, We use everything good that is in that process. We throw away the baby with the bathwater. That's where I disagree on rushing to have a great UX.
No, that's good, because you're thinking about the technology and when it should go, and that's always a good thing to do. But I'm more thinking as a businessman, and I know I have some experience, and I know that user experience wins everything. That's the most important thing, and especially if you're building something for broad audience, for average Joe. This is not what we build, is not something fully technical, specific, built just for specific small audience. It's quite different. So we should focus on user experience first, then everything else, of course, and offer the product which is actually gonna help people solve their problems and save them money. That's a big task. If we can do that, then I believe that we could really do well. If not, if the user experience is not going to be good, if people are not going to be able to use it, if people are not going to be able to get advantage, something out of it, then we don't have the good product, and that's basically it. So sooner or later the Revuto is gonna die. So yeah, this is how I think. And yeah, in a way this is different, because again I think that the blockchain is just underlying technology here in our setup, nothing more. We are not building the technology. This is also quite different. We are just using technology. It's not just, I think that this is also the huge thing, because technology by itself without the users and the use case is nothing. And I believe that those guys who are building the those L1s and the blockchain are building it for the reason.
But it's not. But when you look at Cardano, I mean, they've built something, IOG, Cardano Foundation in Emergo, but everything else that we have today is built purely from community.
Yep.
From people like you, like Genius, like everyone else who are building those things and showing them. I will never forget when we first came on Cardano, there was nobody. No one except Revuto. And we had meeting with IOG, and you asked them, guys, can you help us with that? When we would like to do this and this, and they were like, we don't know anything about it. And you did it. I mean, not you personally, but Philip and guys like him. And we can see today in Genius Guild, we have people like Lars Brunes, who is director of education at IOG, and the guy who is probably one of the best people in the world for Plutus, building such an advanced things now, and building even now this layer 2 sidechains that are coming to Cardano and all of these things. So Cardano was started with Charles and some few other people, but it was continued and built where it's today by the community.
Also, let's not sound as Cardano maxis, very similar stories in the Ethereum community.
It's not, I'm taking Cardano as an example because I'm here building it, but it's.
Yeah, and that's also a good example of how usually I look at, if you have a single entity that builds everything, if you have an entity that builds the chain, the stable coin, the oracle, the UI, the examples, all done by one foundation, that's usually a bad sign for me. Right? I prefer this process is slower and much more painful, but at least you can say there's thousands of people who learned how to use this in any capacity. You don't have to be a hardcore dev, but you learn how to use a wallet because you have to. If you have an entity doing everything for you, calling it decentralized, and in the end you just click 2 buttons, I don't think you didn't put in any effort towards it. You didn't put any effort towards it. The more entities are building and participating, the more you can say that we really are decentralized. I think that's one of the points of decentralization. If you have one company building everything, it's not decentralized, and it's fine. It doesn't have to be decentralized, but then don't market it as a decentralized solution, right?
Yeah. Okay. My opinion is that why I believe in Cardano, because they're more like maybe this is gonna sound really awful, but like an Apple ecosystem. You know, it's more like controlled, and IOG is really doing awesome job. You know, about putting out, even now, when I saw that toolkit for building L2, which can be EVM compatible, and like the Cardano side chain, so and those things are all developed by IOG and Emurgo, those guys together, and they're building many things which are helping us to actually grow the ecosystem. And I think that's good, because they have a plan. Okay, it's a really good plan from the beginning. Yeah, it's maybe it's not the fastest way to build something, but it's a good plan. And now when time is going by, we even see how Cardano still has some big advantages compared to other blockchains. For instance, even that thing about the Babel fees. This is really something awesome, because I believe it's really stupid in the future to think that people are going to use I don't know, different assets, and then whenever they need to do to make a transaction, they need to ask themselves, do I have enough gas? Do I have enough ETH? Do I have enough ADA to make that transaction? That's not step forward, okay? If you ask me. So it's like I make a comparison here in Croatia. When you pay something for the government, and then you need to always buy that sticker on the kiosk for 20 kunas, and stick it on the paper.
But whether if I want to send you money, if I want to send you money via bank transfer, wire transfer, SEPA, whatever, I have $100 on my account, and I would like to send you $100. I have to pay the fee to the bank, right?
Yeah, but
if I have $100 and I want to send you $100, the bank is going to charge me like $10. I don't have $10, so I need to think about the fee.
No, but fee needs to be in the same currency. That's
okay. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I agree with you that it's a great functionality. Now, just to keep again expectations realistic. Babel fees as a concept is good. It's still not rolled out, and maybe it will be, I don't know when. But the idea is still, again, you need to find counterparties, stake pool operators, or node validators who will take the fee in your currency.
Exactly.
So it's not going to magically be, I'm going to make a currency and it's just going to be, that doesn't make any sense. So again,
someone needs to take that.
Someone needs to take that. Now, what is good about it is that can give additional utility to tokens that already exist or new tokens, right? Because a lot of projects today have struggled to answer the question, why do I need that token, right?
Yeah,
what can I do with that token that I cannot do without it? Right?
Exactly.
Financial speculation is one thing, but why do I need a token? And a lot of founders, if really they cannot answer this question, there's a legitimate question to be asked, why was the token created? Right?
Yeah.
If you cannot do something with the token, what's the point of having a token? Yeah. Unless it's just funding, Well, fine, it can be funding, but then say to people, look, I'm raising funds, and in return, you'll get this token for me to build something. That's also fine. That's also fair. But don't make the expectation that token will rise, whatever kind of valuation it is, based out of nothing. I think that's also some moral question that needs to be resolved. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Marco.
Now that when you started this topic about Cardano side chains, maybe you can tell us, do you have any plans about the Revu chain or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we've been in a conversation with the IG about the Hydra heads, because we have a good use case for those microtransactions, which are really important part of our ecosystem. So, but those were initial thoughts. Now we received the documentation and everything, and Dorian is checking it with the Goran. But yeah, now the question is, which path should we choose? I don't know. Okay, for the beginning, I still think and I believe that we should go with the custodial setup. Then also, I still believe that, if the user experience is going to be the same or at least similar, then I would prefer everything to have this decentralized, running on the decentralized on-chain setup. Then when I saw that toolkit for building the L2 sidechain, which is compatible with the Cardano, but also, with the EVM sidechains, this is something that we could get up and running, and then maybe build the ecosystem not only for us but maybe for other projects which are in a way connected to the subscription business, because we have some also other needs. So, well, the huge thing in subscription business is that pre-authorization, and this is something that actually blockchain is not supporting yet. What that means: so whenever you subscribe with something, you give them your credit or debit card and you pre-authorize that card, and this is something that subscription business is actually living on, because as long as you have money on that account, and if you didn't actually unsubscribe, they are allowed to take the money out of your account. In crypto, you cannot do that. So I cannot, pre-authorize my wallet with some other wallet and allow that wallet to monthly take certain amount of money from that wallet. No, I always need to do a push transaction. I always need to confirm it or sign it to actually send the money to somewhere else. And I believe that there is a huge potential also to do some kind of setup which can actually allow wallets to pre-authorize with different wallet, and to allow that wallet, the second wallet, to periodically take the money from the primary wallet until you decide otherwise. And this is something that could also change the subscription business, because if we build something like that, and if we take out of the equation the payment gateways, which are costly actually, because Netflix's, Shopify's, and I know all kind of those service providers, they always work with the payment gateways to be able to take those different cards, and then it's a lot of that they need to pay. It's a lot of money, even if it's just like 2% to 2.5%, then there is an interchange fee if somebody pays with a card that's issued in different currency. So, but with this setup, when they're gonna be able to take directly crypto from people, and if the crypto is gonna be more adopted, I believe that this is just one of the setups that could really work great. And this is something that I'm thinking about maybe in the future, down 3 to 5 years, something that maybe possibly Revuto could build a L2 sidechain, and to allow those kind of things. Now I'm just thinking out loud. I know this really maybe even a visual thinking. There's a lot of work that should be done to actually allow those things, but yeah, who knows. And then there is a question about the scalability of the blockchains in general, because if more people come even to Cardano or whatever blockchain, then the big question is if all those setups, DeFi setups, decentralized setups, could actually offer good user experience on chain. Because for every small thing, even I saw that for instance that DEX that you mentioned, Guy, I forgot the name, Axel, or
yes,
yeah. So it really blew my mind, because it almost looks like sex, the user interface
But
and the
it's amazing to me that you still didn't see the designs of Genius Yield as an advisor. You know?
Definitely.
I did see.
I
I
think
did.
they are
I'm
not- they are not
listening to
public.
this
I
and
did.
I don't. Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
maybe no. I'm big fan of Genius Yield. You know that. Maybe I'm here wrong because maybe I didn't catch everything. I see. Well, Genius Yield has
That's without maybe, but yeah, okay.
you really have awesome design and everything. I don't know. Okay, but let's say that decentralized exchange is gonna offer the same capabilities as
I
centralized.
mean, that's the goal of all decentralized exchanges, but it's not those kind of things are not possible on other
Just
chains.
imagine
With Cardano's EUTXO, you can do something like that. Yeah.
No, you can do, and that's the thing. And this is really something that is really I don't know, gives us competitive advantage compared to, I don't know, Ethereum and other L1s. But just imagine all those actions, user actions, put I don't know, leverage position, and then stop loss and things like that, and all those things on the blockchain. And we have now the problem when the big NFT projects does airdrop, we have a congestions. Just now imagine if something this is going to be widely used, what kind of problems are going to be facing. So I believe that
Well, there will be other it's not everything that will be on L1 now.
But
now
that's
those things can be done on.
Yeah, but what Vedran is saying makes perfect sense, and it just in a lot of
For
things
now,
we are, but in a lot of things we are blessed with Ethereum. Ethereum is a little bit older and more far ahead in some cases, and it's a clear trend on Ethereum that the more things you do on L1, the higher the cost and all of that.
Exactly.
So what happens in Ethereum? You have Polygon, you have Arbitrum, you have Optimum, you have all these different types of scaling solutions. Some are simpler, more centralized, some are more decentralized, some are more cryptographic reliant, some are not. And that's a clear trend because there are limitations to L1. Now you have these fancy solutions, I don't know, sharding or whatever kind of different solutions that will come maybe in time. But for now, let's say the main limit, it's not main, but one of the limitations on Cardano is that you have a block approximately every 20 seconds, right? And you have rollbacks of blocks. So it can take up to 5-6 blocks to say that the transaction is final. This is a feature of these Nakamoto style, protocols. So you cannot have an active trader waiting a minute or 2 or 5 for the transaction to be final.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fine. No one runs away from that. No one runs away from that. There are technical ways to deal with this. There are, and they are being developed. All I'm saying is we cannot say, well, currently L1 doesn't support it, so we throw away the DEX idea and we'll just run a database because user likes it more. That's something that I do not support. What we have to agree with, you have to either build the infrastructure yourself or wait that someone else builds it for you or somehow, and then launch the product when the infrastructure is ready. This would be like saying in 1992, you basically have the mailing lists and say, well, I cannot run a 4K streaming service. Internet is bullshit. We need time to build out these solutions. Yeah. They will be built. It just takes time.
Yeah, I agree. But until then, we cannot, so we have solutions and we cannot just, say, guys, throw them away, because even now I was really upset when a lot of people were, talking, move your funds away from the centralized exchanges, because I knew if that would happen, then all the, those guys would actually end up without having a business. They would, go down, and then what we would end up with a much worse user experience.
But that's the thing, if you find I don't know, a spoiled piece of meat, like a spoiled piece of chicken in a store, Everybody says, don't buy chicken from that store. Everything is, spoiled. There is a reputation risk that happens. It's a bank run, basically, right?
Yeah.
And fine, but I also don't agree with that you should just, hate sexes. That's not their solution. But I think it's good that people need to think a little bit more about what is the risk of keeping your money on a CEX or on Celsius or on any of these magical yield farming giving entities.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. If not your keys, not your coins is not something that just came up out of nowhere. If you don't own it, you don't own it. There is always a risk of you not getting it back. That's just it.
Yeah. Okay. But, again, there is a risk in a CeFi, there is a risk in a DeFi, and we all agree on that. So we don't, cannot say that there is no risk on a DeFi and then the people are not going to lose money. So yeah, we even had a situation on Cardano when, min swap launched, and basically 120 million was on the plate. It was DeFi, but it could be
you as a trader, that's not your risk. That's more a risk for liquidity providers. If you are just a trader on exchange, you just swap tokens, and there is actually no risk involved here.
Yeah, just for liquidity providers.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but most of the money that was on min swap was provided by other projects, so
definitely. Yeah. And what happened is that you have a competitive DEX at the time who found the vulnerability, told them, Wing Riders, told them about it, and they fixed it. Right now, this is a human thing. This is not the economic theory thing. If you model economic actors, they behave in their own best self-interest. Wing Riders should have cleaned the plate, right? In game theory aspect. But also, if they did that, they would ruin also their own, because people would lose faith in Cardano DeFi completely. They would break their own plate, right? In that sense. So I'm guessing someone calculated, and they are good people. I'm going to presume that as well. I don't know them, but I'll presume they helped, but they helped the ecosystem. And I think in this point on Cardano, that's a healthy mindset. You don't want to compete now. You really, any DEX like Genius Yield, like what we are doing, we are depending also on other projects being successful, because we need other projects' tokens to be traded on our DEX, right? We cannot invent them. So there is absolutely no need to be against anyone. This is a collaborative environment from our perspective.
Yeah, it is.
Guys, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. I'm reading some comments and questions from people. I mean, maybe we could also move there. I don't know whether if you have any other.
So we can move there, but we can actually. I can actually put now the link on the. On my
you can put the link. Josipa asked that what would then be the centralized exchange version of the reserve requirement that central banks impose to retail banks, which is quite a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know what to answer. Yeah, I mean, you can let people inside the Zoom call.
Yeah, I'm gonna share the. Yeah, let's.
So Josipa asked, what is the equivalent in DeFi of the central bank reserve? So if I'm familiar, and I am. So if I understand correctly, I think that the commercial banks need to have a 10% of all the assets held by people there, and the other 90% can be used. Right? I think that's what she is referring to. I'm not sure. DeFi
like a liquidity requirement. Reserve.
Sure, but I mean, DEXs, depending on how they're built, but 99% of the time, DEXs do not have funds owned by them to offer liquidity. DEX have funds locked in smart contract, and usually that liquidity is it's over collateralized. So you have more funds held in a smart contract, and when the price goes down, like Vedran said below, it's automatically liquidated and the parties are settled.
But you know what is actually the advantage of the centralized exchange? So you avoid bridges. That's the first thing, because you can easily, you know, trade, even for us, you know, trade Revo for USDT, easy. ADA for USDT, easy. We saw what happened, you know, when we were trying to have those pairs on a DEX on a Cardano with MED USDT, MED USDC, and things like that. So they were bridging those through two bridges, and they were already unpegged when they came to Cardano's ecosystem. Those wrapped assets. Then also there is a exclusivity thing, because on DEX anybody can list anything, even the garbage, you know. And on CEX you still have to, you know, there are CEXs which are, you know, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and it means something if you're listed on tier 1, and then it's an event by itself. Also, you know, exclusivity, then they help you to promote that project and things like that. So you cannot expect all of those to happen on DEX, because, you know, nobody, I won't say cares about those things, but there is no entity to, you know, deal with those things. Even the marketing efforts, joint marketing efforts and things like that, and all those happen on centralized exchanges. But still, yeah, you know, I think that we should have both, and eventually, you know, if the DEX can offer the same user experience as CEX, then there is no brainer, obviously, you know. We should go with the decentralized exchanges. And also, if we can, you know, have that off ramp and on ramp, which is really important, at least for now. Maybe in the future, when all the you know, all money is going to be in crypto, then, you know, there's not going to be need actually for those kind of things. But for now, that's a huge issue, you know. Even when we were now in on a Cardano summit, and there was a real FI consortium meeting, a lot of those guys were complaining about, you know, we cannot off ramp our token. And there's there was some project, I don't know, remember the name, and he said, you know, we are working in Africa and we are giving ADA to those people.
Empower.
Yeah, probably. And they said, you know, but they have a problem with using ADA. They cannot do anything with it. So you basically didn't solve the problem for those guys. And then they were asking, you know, about the off ramp and everything. And I said, guys, you know, okay, that's a big issue for you. But if your token is not listed on centralized exchange, you're not going to be able to off ramp it. And that's the fact. I don't know how you're not aware of those things. And those things are regulated. Those things, you know, off ramp is a taxable event. So, you know, you're not going to be able to do that, you know, without entity which is not compliant, regulated, fully decentralized. Come on.
And Vedran, just to interrupt, sorry, I just want to appreciate you personally for talking about these things. You know, a lot of people, also in technical space, you have these like, you know, insider secrets, you know how that we don't share. We open source a little bit, but we don't open source everything, blah, blah, blah. But also there is a huge knowledge in the business side perspective, in the legal side perspective, that should be common knowledge, in my opinion. Like this should be a no-brainer, that you need an off-ramp for your token, right? Because you just need it for it to be useful. Or if you don't have it, you're limited to a very niche group of people who are trading it even between themselves or on DEXs. So this should be common knowledge, but it should also be common knowledge to say, okay, that costs this much there. This is the process. This needs to be done. Yeah. Like that part of open sourcing, I've never seen, because a lot of lawyers need to be paid, a lot of consultants, you know, finance expert, whatever, need to be paid. The same as in the tech space. Like you don't want to pay developers for 6 months and then just open source whatever you did. Although that is the right way, right way for the whole ecosystem to progress. There should be, in my opinion, a big push in open sourcing these kinds of business requirements. because that would help everybody. And it would also help with the legality, because then me as an average user, I can go and look at the list of these requirements, and I can go to a project that I like and say, hey, do you have all of these? Well, we have 2 out of 35. Well, then I'm not going to deal with you, right? It would protect me as a user to have a checklist of what the project has or doesn't have. I just say I appreciate you talking openly about it. That's good.
Yeah, well, I think that we should talk, you know, and I'm not now. I don't want to sound like I'm against all of those crypto ethos. No, I'm again big supporter of the crypto and everything, but I'm just challenging all those things that people say. Even again, you know, I was present and at those meetings, and I was sometimes amazed how people think, because, you know, even they said, you know, we should propose to idea catalyst, the project which should actually build an off-ramp and on-ramp to support all of us, because off-ramping and on-ramping is it's a costly business. It's a costly actually to off-ramp and on-ramp your token, because you need to list your token on exchange, and then you need to list your token with those service providers. But again, you know, I didn't get the sense that they understand the business behind that service. And again, you know, if you found some kind of that project, you're gonna end up having again the same service that is the same way regulated and you know, as any other which is already available on the market. So you know, so just things like that. Yeah,
and that's why I think that in this space everybody can be of help. Now, I worked with you, and we still, of course, talk and hang out, and I know that you're very focused on that business part, and that's valuable to a lot of projects, to the ecosystem itself, sometimes much more valuable than, you know, discussions about Hydra and UTXOs and whatever, you know. So that's something that is very useful, and all of us here have, not just 4 of us here,
privilege.
Everybody in the space have something to offer, and we just need to share this knowledge right now. But it is dangerous when we think of it as competitive advantage this early.
Yeah.
Right?
The good thing, you know, I was listening to Veterans Ingenious X. I mean, Philip, you know, but Ingenious X, which is like the biggest accelerator program on Cardano, we have advisors. Veteran is one of them, and all of those people have some kind of workshops created, like 60-90 minutes long, and they're always talking about their domain. And Veteran, your workshop was called
what we did
mistakes.
wrong,
Mistakes we made building a crypto project, and that was one of the. I mean, I don't know where you can hear things you said from your perspective and from your experience, and that was quite valuable, I believe, for all the startups launching on Genius X, that they can hear something like that and hopefully avoid it in the future.
There is no place to hear.
I mean,
so many mistakes at one place.
If you want to know where mistakes are,
Name a mistake.
I was
did it.
Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot with you and Revuto, and yeah.
Okay,
we all did, and we are all grateful. Yeah. That's not.
So, Veteran, I saw you shared the. Marco is sleeping. I saw you shared the link from the.
I did in this
Zoom call,
chat, but nobody is interested.
Nobody. So everyone is asking questions there.
Yeah, people are afraid, or I don't know what. Okay, but let's then actually read some of the questions from the chat and try to answer them. Still, I want to ask Marco, what is wrong with your background? Why you are so plain?
What do you mean plain?
No background.
No, there is no background. Yeah.
There is no background.
No, there is only wall. There's only a wall and a chair. Nothing digital.
Nothing digital, yeah.
Show us the trading screens, Marco.
Yeah.
Next time.
Ah,
Marco is really
leave me alone,
I usually
Herbert.
don't
he's
like
saying.
to go live like this and perform in front of the screen. This is not my style, but I said, okay, maybe one time so everyone can see me, but I usually avoid this
Yeah,
whenever I can.
This kind of things.
I don't feel comfortable in front of the camera. I don't know why, but
tax authorities are watching this, so be careful what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, it's all fine, and I appreciate
all the questions.
it. Yeah, Marco, I
All
appreciate
the questions are in.
Okay, let's try. Are we gonna go from the beginning or from the? Let's go from the end. Now, what are your predictions for this year for the Cardano ecosystem? This is actually an awesome question. I'm not sure, if we should stick to the years, but I again really strongly believe that Cardano is in good position to really make good step forward in the next 2 to 3 years, and especially because it's still early. There is still a lot of space and the big opportunity for those DeFi setups to help us to grow the TVLs, and I think that just the fact that people are greedy is going to help Cardano to explode, because on all other blockchains you already have a lot, like really high TVLs in those DeFi setups, and it's really hard to exploit them even more. Now it's easier because prices went down, but still with Cardano it's a different story, because there is nothing yet there, and all the projects are waiting for the same, and even we now, I don't know, maybe but we would maybe leverage our assets if we could on in the DeFi setups. I don't know, just imagine, if you could go and stake Revuto token and to get USDA eventually, and to use that money and help, and reuse that money to grow the business and grow the price of the token as a consequence. I know, but I think that, just because of that the Cardano is gonna do well. And then other things as well, especially those DEXs that are gonna come, and they're gonna exploit that UTXO accounting model, offer the same user experience as a text, that order book thing. That's a huge step forward. Then also like the side chains, those are the big thing that still need to come, because this is actually also, they're going to help bridge a lot of liquidity from the whole crypto universe to Cardano, because I believe that we are actually screaming for liquidity on Cardano compared to other L1s. We are not in a great position, but still big opportunity. So that's my opinion. Guys, anything to add?
You know that I'm
Not really
excited about the tech. I think there are different programming languages coming into play. We are still depending on Plutus mainly, and Plutus is a big hurdle maybe for new developers coming in. There are now Aiken is coming. Aiken is something relying quite on Rust. There are some metrics that I saw that are stated, I don't know, which state that the contract size is drastically smaller than the Plutus TX contracts. So that will again smooth out the process. It will be easier. It will be a bit faster. There will be more capabilities. We're still missing some crucial infrastructure, like a couple of oracles, decent oracles, for prices.
So what's going on with the oracles actually?
I am not sure. I think Srdoc, if you spoke with, I only know about Charlie 3 as an official oracle.
They're the only one.
Yes. Still, I don't.
Haven't launched yet.
I am not familiar. Yes, with the exactly.
They're actually not the only one. I know
Who's
the.
there?
Yeah,
I know, yeah, they're not the only one, but they're the biggest and the closest to launch, and I cannot remember the name of the other story.
But I mean, just purely from the technical perspective, these oracles need to be tested to see how they can be exploited. You have this front running on DEXs on Cardano going on, so on Ethereum going on. This is something to also be something to need to be tested, see where the efficiencies or inefficiencies are. I think for the next bull run, let's call it, I think identity solutions are going to be a big deal. Something close to NFT summer or the DeFi summer. I think that next thing will be identity, because it connects a lot of these things that we talked together about. It connects the regulators to the crypto space, to the non-crypto space, to the private traditional finance things. And it allows enough decentralization that maybe someone a bit more hardcore can be happy with it. If someone marries all of that, there's a lot of projects working on it in and out of Cardano, in and out of crypto. That could be a big thing for the adoption.
Okay. Thank you for that. Marco?
Yeah, like Philip is saying always, Bitcoin is money, all other coins are technology. I believe that if you look 1 year ago, we didn't have anything on Cardano. We didn't have even one functional DEX. I believe in next cycle, we will see a lot of hype on Cardano. That's just my opinion. And I believe things are already building. We have Swap. When they come out, nobody know about this exchange. No, we all looked, where did that come from? And I believe now they are already functional DEX. I also believe that MinSwap is functional DEX. SundaeSwap, okay, I don't like them so much because maybe they could, they didn't do anything from the day when they launched. But I believe that in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I believe there will be a lot of things on Cardano.
They didn't do anything, or MLabs didn't do anything? Just kidding.
No, well, it's a bit harsh.
That's why
I mean, MLabs is huge. MLabs has like 300 people, so.
Yeah. And MLabs does, as as a company, they do put out a lot of things, new things, open source. They do. I cannot.
No, they do, but you have to pay.
And they are contributing a lot. Yeah. Of course, you have to pay them.
You just spoke about business model. You have to pay them. It's a business model.
That's the problem.
I mean, they're development agencies. What? I mean, Vacuum Labs, MLabs, Twig, Certic, all of them. I mean, that's the business model. They will provide service.
How many DEXs are MLabs? Is MLabs building? If you have a,
but it's not.
I work for one. I providing.
But yeah, it's not all of the developers from the one company. They have in-house developers. Veteran, you have in-house developer called Dorian.
Yeah,
right? And then you have
developers. Yeah,
backend developers. Okay, few of them actually in Revuto. But you also take help from other companies, not maybe MLabs, but someone else.
Front end, yes. Unfortunately,
okay. And you're paying them.
Yeah,
and they built one part of the Revuto, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but it's like I don't know. Yeah, it's a mistake. You know, I still believe that.
I mean, it's look. If you can have all people work in house, that'll be amazing. But you cannot.
But it will at some point become a huge overhead cost that you would have to cut at some point.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then it was the.
And sometimes you need developer only for one thing, for one project that will last for a few months. You cannot employ someone for a few months and then let him go. You'll have to. Exactly. That's where outsourcing is good. But on the other hand, outsource someone where I can see it's usually been down. It's like a practice now, where the developers are building the project, and then they said, "Okay, we have to go to work for another project," and then you were like, "No, man, you know everything about my project, and you've built the whole thing. You cannot leave now." Okay, then you'll have to pay more, and then more, and then more, and then more.
Yeah, I mean, it's very costly.
Leverage. It's leverage.
it's costly. You're losing time because they're slow, and there is a reason why they're slow, because you pay them on the working hour, man hour. Then a lot of things get lost in communication. Then it's much easier to talk with your team internally, because you can make those guys work 24/7. If something goes wrong with the agency, you cannot, because they have working hours. Some agencies are better, some they are worse. We have a good agency actually, but yeah, we are not 100% happy with it, and we would rather have in-house team. But then, now it is how it is. This is one of the lessons that we learned. The thing was that, we actually promised a lot for the first year. We had token sale ended by the end of the May, and already in August, 1st of August, we actually released the first app out. And for us to actually hire somebody to do front-end development so quickly, and to actually explain them everything what Revuto is, would be really hard. Then we were already working with the async labs, with the agency. They knew what we were up to, and it was for us the easiest way. It was just to hire them to do the front-end development as well for the mobile app. Yeah, down the road, it was then it was challenging. It still is, a lot of things. Well, the problem with agencies is also that they want to have a strict roadmap, and with the projects like ours, which are more or less like startups, everything is so dynamic and things change, and you now want to do this and that, and then for them it's all about the planning and the strategy, and they are having difficult time to with dealing with those kind of requests. And yeah, so but it's business as usual. So yeah, one of the things that we have I wouldn't say a problem with, but this could be done or managed better, I think. Also, it's sometimes it's a lot on us, because maybe we didn't have the right strategy also from the beginning. We wanted too much at one point, to build everything, and that was not possible, and we maybe lost a bit of the focus and things like that. But yeah, all the usual business stuff. Let's try to answer some other questions. So have to go now. All the best. Don't push VDCs too far out. Keep well. Yeah, that's the topic that we are all the time talking about. When to launch something. You actually had Genius Yield had a token sale in December, and even from it's sometimes hard to learn from mistakes from others. And I would say that you did a mistake like for launching in December, but now what we learned,
we had some other things that we have to follow, and we have some obligations to
no,
our community.
Sure, because
ISPO dates were set.
Everything. But just what you can learn from those events is that timing is everything in this business, and sometimes you really have to be careful about what you do and when you launch, because wrong decisions can literally kill your business, and that's it. And I would rather wait for a bit longer, and nothing major is going to change, although it may seem differently. But the same one was, and I was talk about that listing and the listing event of Revuto token. So I remember, how excited we were when we finally received that listing date on 7th of January. But for us, it would be much better if we went if we at that point decided not to list our token, because all the good, like the good time frame was already behind us. We would do really well if we would be listed in October or November. Even December could be much better, but that January was really devastating. And from then on, it was really tough regarding the token price. But yeah, so
it is what it is.
It is what it is, exactly. So you cannot always do well. But now I'm trying to be smart about it, and to be really careful. Take all those things into consideration when thinking about when to launch the core feature. Because I'm aware that it's not going to be easy once when we launch, and especially if we launch in a wrong time, it's going to be hard to do the user acquisition, the growth, and everything. It's never easy, and then people are going to expect a lot because they're going to say, "Oh, wow, your core feature is already out, and nothing is happening, and now I was waiting so long for nothing, and then I'm going to actually leave," and things like that. So I don't want to put ourselves in that position. And it's hard actually to explain the people, what is the everything that is happening behind the business. It's not about, there's so many things, and even we need to be careful about the expenses because we don't know how long the bear market is going to last, and we depend on the crypto community. Although we are aiming at a broader audience, but still we have a strong support from the crypto community, and we have really awesome incentives placed for the user acquisition through the crypto. So we cannot actually say that we are fully independent of the crypto, although we are aiming at other users as well. So many things to take into consideration. Discussed the nodes crashing yesterday on Cardano blockchain. Oh, actually, I didn't know about that. So did the Cardano had some major issue? Oh, wow.
It's not major issue. I haven't followed it, but yeah, it went down.
I also just saw the Twitter post. It seems like half of the nodes for a few minutes went down.
No, it's not true. I mean, I sent it today in the.
Yeah, I don't know what's it about. I didn't go into details.
So actually, Charles is not going to be able now to say that we went.
No. Blockchain kept running. It's not like Solana level problem, but
no.
But somehow I don't know. I really don't know what happened. I think it was Epoch turned.
It was some kind of restart. Thinking something.
Restart. On and off.
Some of them.
That's always the solution. You just plug it out and plug in after 3-4 seconds, and it's gonna work. Okay. We can also wait for Revuto to reach $1 and then discuss what to do. It's 0.25. Yeah. Well, actually, this is gonna happen. We'll see. It's a long way in front of us, but things change really quickly in crypto space. I'm not even sure how the I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about the token prices, and if the SEC is gonna put me in jail because of it, because I'm the CEO. But I'm not sure how that math behind the token price works, because whenever Bitcoin goes up, we go up as well. So I don't think that something major happened on the demand side. I just believe that there is some correlation.
Probably,
yeah. So if the Bitcoin would go now to, I don't know, 70,000, 60,000, 70,000, we would probably go up also, without any additional demand.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
People will try to turn into waves to fight. People will always try to find something to beat the markets, find something they should do 100x and not 10x as Bitcoin will do, and they'll go into other altcoins.
It's just
I
the
mean,
bad part of that
It's
is when eventually Bitcoin goes down again, Revu or other tokens will go down with it, and that's something that we should all aim to
Much
get
more.
decoupled from. Much more, yes. So we can only get decoupled from that if we have people using the application, using the token, having the product, liking the product, talking about the product. Then and only then we can talk
Sure,
about.
but how we can also decouple if it's correlated with the math, with some kind of algorithm behind it, you know?
If you have a service that you charge, not you as a company, but if there is a service charged in Revuto token automatically, manually, or whoever, and people actually use that service, then that service will be auto-regulated by the price.
Yeah, well, that's the plan.
Guys, unfortunately, I'll have to go soon.
Yes, me
Yeah,
too.
I think
Just to, having we're
yeah.
here for 2 hours, and I also have some other things to finish for tomorrow. So
No, I think
I mean, if we have other questions, we can. But it was quite good discussion.
Yeah, it was a good discussion. I went to those questions, nothing major there. So all the basic questions, I just can answer that.
Revuto related.
Yeah, Revuto related about the milk. So we said that we are not releasing those tokens during the weekend. So we're gonna release them tomorrow and possibly maybe portion of that on Tuesday. But yeah, that's it. So everybody's gonna get their milk finally. And yeah, I just hope their people are gonna be happy with it, because even this month we actually gave out a lot of those rewards to the community. People get upset about it, but they forget that we are basically giving them money. I wouldn't say for nothing. It's incentive to keep them stay with us and believe in us and hold our tokens. But still we give away a lot, especially in these conditions. Maybe
So people will tomorrow get the milk tokens, right?
Yeah.
So Mario, I don't know if you're watching, but okay, he is the one it was a big question for him, so I believe he's here and listening to this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I would I'm gonna thank you guys for being here, especially for to Marco, because I know how now he was bleeding for the last 2 hours, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. Thank you for the whole discussion and everything. I'll have to log out now. Guys, Marco, Philip, it was a pleasure as always.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and see you next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See you next time. So
next time, Marco.
Next time.
Love me.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, come back with a digital background, please.
Yeah.
See ya, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, guys. Thank
Enjoy.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.